The HMG Sow Bug. The sow bug is normally tied on hook size 12 through 20. The hook that's in the vise is a size 16. The materials that you'll need for this fly are hooks. The one that I'm using right now is a Mustad R72, long nymph, 2X heavy, 2X long, size 16. Thread, uni 6/0 or equivalent. Rubber legs. Lead wire. Hairline, ice dub, pheasant tail. Clear hot melt glue. Fabric paint. This is Scribbles. Can be obtained at Hobby Lobby, Walmart sometimes, or Michael's. We'll begin by wrapping the hook shank, starting just behind the eye, moving to about 1/3 back the shank, and then I'm going to wrap back up to the eye. At this point, I'm going to cut a piece of rubber legs. We're going to tie this in as the antenna and the tail on the on the sow bug. You notice I did a pinch wrap, another pinch wrap, and then I'm going to bring back on top. At this point, I'm going to wrap all the way to the back of the hook, keeping tension on the rubber legs because this is our tail. Going to put in some lead wire for weight. If you notice, I start the wraps at about above the hook point. 10 wraps. I'm going to wrap my thread through the wire. And then back through it again. I don't want this lead moving on the fly. Wrap back again and leave my thread back near the tail. Using super glue, I'm going to coat the lead in the thread, and that'll help hold it in place. Super glue is a little difficult to work with. If you get too much on there, just dub it off with a paper towel. At this point, I'm going to begin putting on the dubbing using some dubbing wax. Now what I did, which is kind of interesting, is I cut the end of the dubbing bag off and I can feed it through here. I like doing it this way. Not concerned about how this body looks at this point. You'll see why here in a moment. At this point I'm going to make a few wraps just behind the eye and then do a whip finish. And remove the thread. A sow bug is somewhat flat. It's different from a scud. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flatten the lead with a pair of pliers. As you can see, these are smooth pliers. Now, using my dubbing brush, I'm going to pull that dubbing down on both sides to create legs. At this point, what I'm going to do again is get my super glue out, and I'm going to put some super glue along the back. What this does is hold the dubbing in place, but it also protects the dubbing from the heat that's emitted from the applicator. At this point, you determine what color you want the fly using felt tip markers. Where I fish on the white, the sow bugs are somewhat dark, almost black, so I'm going to color the back of the sow bug here a dark gray. We'll begin applying our clear hot melt glue at this point, first on one side and then on the other. You notice I'm dragging the glue with the applicator all the way up to the antenna. There you can see I have the glue on one side. Now I will apply glue to the other side of the fly. I will finish applying a small amount of glue on the top. All right. You can see we still have that flat appearance. We're going to allow the glue to set up just a little, and at this point we'll cut the tail. The sow bugs have a short, stubby tail, so we'll cut it close. Next thing we're going to do is create segments. And we'll do that using tippet material. We'll begin at the back. Sow bugs usually have 6 segments. All right. At this point, we can trim the dubbing or the legs, and I normally will cut it about at the hook point. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to form the antenna. Sow bugs have a very long antenna. I'm going to cut them off even by pulling them both together and cutting. All right, next thing, we're going to use our Scribbles fabric paint and create eyes. Normally what I'll do is I'll wipe the area where I'm going to apply the eye to ensure that it sticks. You notice I'm squeezing a very small bead of fabric paint out on the nozzle, and then I just touch the area where I want the eye to be located. The HMG Sow Bug.